All right, so making a new video, and this video is going to, I decided to put a cone facing upward, wedged or kind of coming out or wedged into the side of this hexagonal prism. And it's going to look something along the lines of this. So this is the original cone. So when you draw a cone, basically it's just an ellipse at the bottom, connected from the center up. And it has this kind of volumetric element to it. So you would draw that here, and then right along this line here is where it starts to wedge, and then it wedges down here because the cone's coming out on an angle similar to the angle of this. So that's why it gets a little funky down there at the bottom. So I'm going to try to draw this cone, and when I'm putting this cone in, I don't want to put the point right on the edge there. I either want to overlap this or just put it right below it. So what do I want to do? Put it below it. It's going to be really small. I think I'm just going to overlap it. So I'll put the, whenever you draw a cone or a cylinder vertical, you're going to draw as if it's not a diagonal rectangle. So you're going to have to imagine or figure out what this size of this ellipse will be at the bottom based off of what you have going on here. So a good way to do that is find a square type top. This looks squarish to me. And if you just throw an ellipse in that square, that's going to give you the height of something that's about this wide. Mine's going to be about this wide. I'm going to make mine from here to here. And the bottom of it's going to be about here. And the top of it, I don't know, let's just say it's about there. So that's going to be my rectangle. And you know what, I think I'm going to make it a little higher. Actually, and I'm going to make it a little wider here too. Why not? I just don't want it to overlap that same line. I'll make it wider here. There we go. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to throw in a horizontal line. That represents the bottom. And I'm going to figure out how big my ellipse is. So if my width is going to be, I'm just going to draw a vertical line up. Come on. Remember, this is, the cone's going to do this. This is just the original box here. So I said I want it about this wide and this wide. So I'm just going to follow this line straight up. And I said I want it to be, you know what, I'm just going to go with this line here. Why not? It already exists. So I'm just going to use that as my top. There you go. So there's my square right here, or rectangle. And I said about the width of this, it's probably a little smaller than that. The height of it's about right there. So I'm going to say the height of that looks good to me. If it's a smidge off, or it's not going to look foreign. If it's super odd. It's going to look foreign. The other thing you want to do is, what I'm doing is I'm measuring the width of this using my pencil, and I'm just going to see if it's equivalent to the width of this guy. It is. It's the same thing. So the height of this ellipse here should be the same as here. So I should have gone just a little bit bigger. I'm going to erase this line. Go a little bigger. Okay, now I need to find the center of this whole rectangle. And how do you do that? You cross your corner. And then you cross the other corner. That finds your center. This is the center top. That's where I'm going to connect everything to. I broke the center down here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go with a light blue pencil. This is a little lighter. And I'm going to cross my corners here. This will find my center, which is here. I'm going to draw my center going through. Okay, and oh man, I measured this line, not this line. That's my original, whatever, everything's fine. I'm just gonna bring it back down to my original height. I knew that was right. Once you get so many lines, it does get confusing. So I'm moving this line down to my original height. I can't see. And I'm gonna cross my corners again. Hopefully this doesn't confuse you at home. All right, I gotta start fresh. Because I keep confusing this line with the other line. And this is something that you're gonna do at home often. It goes to this line here. There we go. And this one goes to this line here. And there's the center. How hard was that? All right, so the center is just a little bit lower than the other one. And it's going to allow me to put my ellipse in. And at this point, you should know how to do this, make a cone anyway, but the main part of this is how do I wedge it into this form? That's the most important part. All right, so you can see my ellipse right here. I can tweak it later. I'm just kind of going fast now. What you do, you want to connect the outer point, which is right here, to that top corner. Outer point to the top corner. There's our cone. Now our cone here, this blue, light blue cone, I'm glad I switched my colors here. Right around here, remember when we drew this guy here, we were trying to find the ellipse and we needed to overlap that line from the plane? Same thing here. So I'm just gonna throw one in just to kind of figure out where this should be. And I want it to overlap right here. All right. Yeah, that's about right. This little point here is going to be the bottom, close to the bottom of the ellipse. So I'm going to draw a horizontal line. And the height of the ellipse, this looks about right. This is where you're going to guesstimate and be like, it looks good to me. This looks good to me. Vertical is already in there. I'm just going to kind of guesstimate the halfway point instead of crossing the corners. I'm going to skip a step because I'm trying to get quick. Looks good to me. So now I can throw my ellipse in. And the reason I'm being fast about this one, because you're only going to utilize a small portion of this ellipse, so you don't have to be so perfect. However, you are going to show transparency, so I take that sentence back, and I do want you to be as perfect as you can. All right, so this is where the ellipse intersects the form right here. What you want to do then is I'm going to draw a line straight parallel to this line here, because this gives me the direction of the ellipse. So it's just nice to have the line here so I can understand it. What's going to most likely happen is this ellipse is going to, or this straight line is going to kind of bend out a little bit from there. It's going to do something like this and then come back in. So it was nice I got that straight line because there's an ellipse right here, and I'm just going to kind of draw a big ellipse that would be inside, hitting that plane on a diagonal. So that's why I drew that line, and then now I can draw it in, and then you can see this form feels like it's going in the direction of the plane, and then that edge of the ellipse, which is here, but the interior part would be here, and I'm kind of like roughing in what the ellipse would look like if I drew it, but then it blends right back into the edge of the this bottom ellipse. And what I can do now is I'm just going to draw this in using my dark blue pencil. And I can lightly erase the old line because of the, what do you call it? Hexagonal prism. And then I can put this corner in here. And then I can connect it to the top plane. And then I can connect it to, not the top plane, but the top point. That's what I was trying to say. And there you have it. You have a wedged cone on the side of this cuboid, and everything's really starting to get mashed together. So I'm happy with that, and I'm going to leave it as is. Okay.